Good evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Thursday, January 19, 2023. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. State House attacker charged with attempted murder, discharging loaded gun. Faulty work by contractor at Princess Street KOKER causes flash flooding in city. Opening bank accounts now made simpler for low-risk customers. Squatters on LINDEN SOESDYKE highway to be relocated to 3 settlements. And $114.9 million allocated to provide legal aid to domestic violence victims. Now for the news in detail. The Nigerian national who attempted to invade State House last month has been discharged from the hospital and has been slapped with 2 charges in relation to the incident. Here is our lead story tonight.
25-year-old Bethel Ikena Shinezi, the Nigerian national who attempted to invade State House last month, was charged with attempt to commit murder and discharging a loaded firearm with intent. On Thursday, he appeared before Chief Magistrate Ann McLennan, where he was not required to plead to the indictable charges. The man was remanded to prison until January 26th. On the morning of December 15, 2022, Shinezi presented himself at a Southern Guard hut at State House, located near Carmichael Street, with a demand to see the president. Cautioned about having to be processed before entering the compound, Shinezi resisted being so processed before whipping out a knife from a pouch he was carrying and using same to stab one of the guards, Tion Pereira, 5 times about his body and to his neck. After injuring Pereira, Shinezi relieved the female guard of her firearm and retreated from the guard hut. It was then that shots rang out in the usually quiet neighborhood, much to the alarm of those residing in the environs. Civilian videos of this Thursday morning ordeal captured Shinezi walking backwards from the guard hut while continuing to exchange gunfire with the presidential guards and other ranks. The severely injured Nigerian national was later surrounded, intercepted, and disarmed by ranks, and both he and the injured guard were rushed to the Georgetown Public Hospital for immediate medical attention. Shinezi was placed on life support while Pereira was treated and admitted as a patient. He was later discharged. At the scene of the shooting, police ranks retrieved a 9mm pistol and 7 9mm spent shells. While there were no other injuries reported, there was visible damage to nearby business entities. It was reported that Shinezi was at the time employed with a cleaning service company. He had arrived in Guyana on March 13, 2020, and previously worked at a security company.
We now tell you that sections of Georgetown have experienced flooding after a faulty door installed at the Princess Street KOKER caused water from the Demerara River to flow inland this afternoon. Here is more.
The flash floods affected the work in Rust area. The water started rising around Charlestown mid-Thursday afternoon and within an hour had reached to some residential yards, while nearby trenches were almost overflowing. Home Affairs Minister Robeson Ben, who had visited the Princess Street KOKER to ascertain the reason behind the rise in water levels in the city, explained that an incorrect measurement on a new sluice door had caused the water from the Demerara River to flow inland.
Yeah, apparently they're making a new metal door which would last longer than the traditional wooden ones. There is a slight adjustment which is not noticed to be made so that this new door would fit, and the tight card then. So they have to knock out about 8 inches, 1.5 inches, so the door would drop down to the bottom. So there's an 8-inch gap between the bottom of the new door and the base of the sluice at the bottom.
That's what's causing the water to come in.
This hasn't gone down completely.
The new sluice door was being installed by a contractor, Square Commodities, which had won the $11.6 million contract last August for the fabrication and installation of a stainless steel door at the Princess Street KOKER.
This is NDIA who've been trying to help the city council with the issues with their sluice doors and pumps. The NDIA, the Ministry of Agriculture, has been trying to help the flooding situation in Georgetown by replacing the doors with metal doors, as I said, which will last longer, and also with the maintenance and servicing and providing fuel for the pumps. So they're in a little fix now. But they got to take out, like he says, 1.5 inches, over 8 inches along the side. This door is jamming against this concrete structure, right? There's a bend in the construction, and maybe note wasn't taken of that properly.
In a subsequent statement Thursday afternoon, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa, who was also on the ground inspecting the KOKER, expressed his dissatisfaction with the work of the contractor. As a result, he has advised the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, NDIA, to terminate the contract with the company and award an emergency contract to another firm with more experience. While the affected areas were drained during the low tide late Thursday afternoon, engineers from the NDIA will continue to monitor the KOKER to ensure that the water from the Demerara River does not further intrude inland. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
We now report that the process for low-income earners to open accounts at any of the local commercial banks has been made simpler and hassle-free following a decision taken by the government to make financial products and services readily accessible to citizens and people living and working in Guyana. More in this report.
Last week, the measures for local banks to simplify financial services were published in the official gazette, and according to the Bank of Guyana Governor Dr. Gobind Ganga, they took effect immediately. According to the gazetted document, which was sent to all licensed financial institutions in Guyana, the central bank has simplified the requirements to open and maintain a bank account for low-risk customers by making certain amendments. It was noted that this approach is consistent with Section 17 of the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism Act 2009 and is aligned with the risk-based approach as well as the international best practices in order to promote financial inclusion in the country. The low-risk customers to benefit from this initiative include small savers with monthly deposits up to $500,000. Examples of low-risk customers include individuals who belong to the lower economic strata of society, whose accounts show small balances and low turnover, salaried employees whose salary structures are well defined, government departments and government-owned companies, regulators, and statutory bodies. With these new measures, in order to open an account for a low-risk customer, a bank would now have to verify a customer's identity with only one form of identification required, obtain a proof of address, but a self-attestation is acceptable if no other proof of address is available, obtain a source of income for which self-attestation is also acceptable, and obtain the tax identification number. The commercial banks are expected to provide the forms for self-attestation with a specimen outlined by the central bank. These amendments to the AML-CTF Act comes on the heels of the Guyana government recognizing the burdensome process within the local banking system. In fact, only at a recent engagement with key private sector stakeholders, including representatives from the major commercial banks in Guyana, discussions were held on the difficulties persons face in doing simple bank transactions.
With the aim of regularizing housing developments across Guyana, President Dr. Irfan Ali on Wednesday announced that 3 new planned settlements will be established along the SOESDYKE-Linden highway to relocate scores of squatters currently occupying lands there. Vanu Manikchand reports.
The highway is currently lined with hundreds of persons who have illegally taken up residence in scattered areas and in some cases forming an entire irregularized community. Previously, authorities have regularized some of these communities, but persons have started to expand those areas, thus continuing the squatting culture. But during a community meeting at Kurukururu village on Wednesday afternoon, President Dr. Irfan Ali declared that this practice of squatting has to stop.
We can't do that. I'll be very honest with you, we can't do that. We have to stop it. So what we're going to do in the entire highway, we're establishing 3 planned settlements where we're going to move all the squatters to planned settlements so you can have proper roads, proper water, proper electricity, proper school, proper health services. But you just can't continue expanding the squatting. It can't happen. I understand. It can't happen and then you complain about the condition.
The head of state also shared this plan with residents of Yarra Cabra, as well as an illegal settlement on the highway called Circuit, where about 700 persons reside.
We can't have squatter settlement. If you want better for our children, for yourself, you can't go to the bank with a squatter land.
No.
So let's work on getting you in a legally planned area. Okay? Thank you. So is everyone here willing to go in a planned area?
Yes. According to the president, they are currently looking for swaths of 200-acre lands along the highway to set up these 3 housing developments.
By end of the first quarter, we're going to identify 3 areas along the highway that we're going to put planned housing schemes in to take care of all the squatting. But we cannot tolerate any new additional squatting. We cannot tolerate squatting. Colin, we have to start these 3 settlements as quickly as possible. We have to earmark 200 acres of land to develop along the highway for housing and move all the squatting.
Meanwhile, other issues raised during the president's visit on the LINDEN-SOESDYKE highway include security concerns, drainage and irrigation challenges affecting farmlands, access to utility services, conditions of roads, and issues affecting school children. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manakchand.
The Guyana government is moving full steam ahead with the country's first smart urban center, Silica City, along the LINDEN-SOESDYKE highway. The first 100 homes are slated to be constructed soon, and young people on the highway are being urged to take advantage of the job opportunities that would come their way. Here is Vanu Manikchand again with the details.
This call was made by President Dr. Irfan Ali during a visit on the LINDEN-SOESDYKE highway, where he met with residents on Wednesday afternoon to address a number of concerns.
I see a lot of young people around here.
Yes, we have a lot.
Who want to work in the construction sector. We are building a number of houses in this area. How many houses are starting? 100 homes are starting very soon. They need workers. They need skilled, semi-skilled, unskilled workers. All right? So I'm going to ask Minister Kwame and Colin to get a list of all the young people who are interested so we can give those names to the contractors so you can be hired to work in the community close by.
The head of state made this remark while engaging residents of an irregularized settlement called Circuit. He tasked the Guyana Lands and Surveys Commission to ascertain whether the squatters are in the pathway of the Silica City development in order to determine whether they will have to relocate or can be regularized right there.
You know what we're planning for Silica City, right? Yes, sir. So they are going to come back. The school and the team from Lands and Survey are going to come back. They're going to see where you fall within the whole planning environment and where is close by, right? So they can discuss with you what you have here and what is the option around here, close by.
Additionally, the president also informed all the farmers who have to be relocated to make way for the secondary city that they will be compensated.
We are going to have the technical team come and speak to you, but all the farmers who are affected, they will be relocated. And we will help them to get back to their lands and build back their lands to continue farming. That's clear.
Silica City is a brainchild of President Ali, who had proposed the establishment of a secondary city in the country while serving as housing minister in 2013. So far, there have been tremendous interest from countries and top international companies from around the world on the development of Silica City. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manakchand.
Coming up, government inks agreement with IICA to advance One Health initiative, and Dawn Hastings-Williams is new PNCR General Secretary. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
This Christmas, give the gift of life by protecting your loved ones against vaccine-preventable diseases. The Ministry of Health's nightly vaccination campaign continues throughout December at the Ministry of Health tarmac up to 7 p.m. Mondays to Saturdays. Administration of the HPV vaccine for children begins from 9 years old, so come out adults and bring your children to get vaccinated against HPV. But that's not all. Since it's a season of giving, we are gifting back to school supplies to children receiving HPV and COVID-19 vaccines throughout December. Adults, gifts for you too when you are vaccinated at the Ministry of Health, Brickdam, on December 25th, 26th, and 31st from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. For more information, contact us at 226-8171 or 226-3103. Vaccinate what you create. A message from the Ministry of Health and UNICEF.
Optic offers great patient care that is tailored for my entire family.
At Optic, a wide selection of affordable optical frames and optical services are available to fit your budget.
At Optic, my family is provided with comprehensive eye examination and access to the ophthalmology services, all under one roof.
Optic takes pride in delivering exceptional customer service and a unique experience to you, our customers.
Optic Vision Care is a company that is Guyanese born and grown that will help you take care of your precious eyes.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. The government has put aside a whopping $114.9 million to provide legal aid to victims of domestic violence in an effort to empower these persons to lead better lives. Find out more in this report.
Last year, the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security recorded a total of 7,597 domestic violence victims who benefited from legal aid. The program will continue this year with a whopping $114.9 million budgeted in this regard.
In pursuit of the implementation of all of these initiatives, which fall under the auspices of the Ministry of Human Services and Social Protection, in 2023, the sum of $40.4 billion is allocated to advance all of these initiatives.
That was Finance Minister Dr. Rashni Singh on Monday presenting the 2023 budget to the National Assembly. He emphasized that the government has no tolerance for any type of violence and has implemented numerous strategies to curb gender-based violence since taking office in August 2020.
We are steadfast on no tolerance for domestic violence or indeed any form of violence. We are focused on numerous interventions to curb gender-based violence in our country. Key interventions to date have included the establishment of the 914 hotline, the iMatter application for immediate reporting of violence, the Survivors Advocate program, which expanded counseling services, and the Cop Squad initiative, which saw over 1,476 police officers trained to deal with domestic violence matters.
Further, with a $56 million allocation, the government will continue to provide support to help and shelter for the services they provide to victims fleeing domestic violence, while opening 2 new shelters this year.
We will open later this year 2 domestic violence shelters, which will provide much needed refuge for women and children. We will continue to support, help and shelter, given the services they provide to women and families fleeing domestic violence.
Guyana has taken steps to advance the One Health initiative with the signing of an agreement with the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture. Here are the details.
The Ministry of Health's Permanent Secretary Malcolm Watkins and ICA's representative to Guyana Wilmot Garnett on Wednesday signed an agreement to advance the One Health initiative in Guyana. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, One Health is an approach to designing and implementing programs, policies, legislation, and research in which multiple sectors communicate and work together to achieve better public health outcomes. This approach is critical to addressing health threats in the animal, human, and environmental interface. With the pact, ICA will conduct evaluations and capacity building in food safety with personnel from the Ministries of Agriculture, Health, and Natural Resources.
Our component is One Health, and we'll be building capacity in risk-based assessments, especially for food inspectors. And I want to highlight the approach with One Health is that where we will be bringing technicians from the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Health, and the Ministry of the Environment, Natural Resources, all under one roof at the same time, and then we'll be rolling out the discussion about what One Health is, collectively what is it that we can do for Guyana, and as Minister Dr. Ramsamy mentioned in the past, the leadership that Guyana plays, especially in the Caribbean.
He said ICA will also be doing field work.
They will be engaging to do some physical assessments and so in the respective regions, and so our team will also be working to highlight those. So those are some of the key areas.
Meanwhile, Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony highlighted that Guyana has shortcomings as it relates to early detection of diseases, and as such, this agreement will assist in increasing the local capacity.
With all the partnerships that we're doing now, we feel by mid of this year we'll have a far better understanding of what we need to do to move the One Health agenda forward, and we believe this is absolutely essential. Health is not something that is just for the Ministry of Health, but it has to be integrated across the board, and we need all partners on board if we're going to have a comprehensive system of monitoring for future diseases.
A massive $84.9 billion budgetary allocation in several projects in the pipeline would transform the infrastructural landscape for the health sector in 2023. This was the position shared by Senior Minister with responsibility for Finance, Dr. Ashney Singh, during his 2023 budget presentation to the National Assembly this week. Rupa Sinarang tells us more.
According to Finance Minister Dr. Ashney Singh, since his government assumed office just over 2 years ago, delivering world-class healthcare has been high on the agenda. As a result, in 2022, $74.5 billion was expended in the sector. He cited advancements in the maternal and pediatric hospital and 6 new regional hospitals as major projects for this year, for which over $13 billion will be spent.
In 2023, we will witness a sharp and rapid positive transformation of infrastructure in the healthcare system. Let me give a few examples. First, advanced infrastructure works for the pediatric and maternal hospital and the 6 regional hospitals to which I've just referred. Mr. Speaker, an amount of $13.1 billion is allocated for those projects.
Some $830 million has been allocated to complete the design and commence construction of the Bartica Regional Hospital. To retrofit and upgrade health centers and other facilities, $1 billion will be spent. Dr. Singh explained that the Karasabay, Sand Creek, and Anay health centers will also be upgraded to district hospitals, where radiology and laboratory services can be facilitated. This will cost $237 million. Part of the patient care experience and ability to deliver services is the availability of medical and non-medical equipment, and $2.5 billion will be spent for these upgrades.
We are investing in increases in storage capacity. We are investing in increases in storage capacity, improving storage conditions for cold chain products, providing decentralized training of pharmacy assistants for more effective pharmaceutical supply management. And in 2023, sir, we aim to fulfill over 80% of all requests made for drugs and medical supplies.
The finance minister also indicated that given the sharp infrastructural advancements, government is also looking to meet all human resource needs in the new and expanded system. Rupa Sinarayan, The Evening News.
Intervention by the Ministry of Public Works to upgrade the entire road networks in the villages of Little India and Little Africa in Berbice were met with gratitude from residents who had complained bitterly of the inconveniences the previous muddy trails had caused them. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael tells us more.
During a recent visit to Region 6, East Berbice Quarantine, Public Works Minister Gwan Edgell announced a wide range of infrastructural projects across the county for this year. Among them is the upgrade of a 1.8 km road at Yakasari Blackbush Boulder, which is being undertaken by H. North & Sons Contracting. The $179.8 million project is expected to be completed by the end of the month.
And that will bring us to a total of 10 kilometers of road that we would have done since 2020 when we went back into office. There will be budgetary allocations for main access roads, and we will look to see what we could continue to do in Blackbush.
Minister Edgell and his team also conducted visits to various communities in the region and inspected roadworks and other projects under the purview of his ministry. Among the communities visited were Little India and Little Africa, both in the town of Riverton. The ministry had undertaken work to upgrade the entire road network in each community. According to the minister, when he first visited those communities, residents were walking on muddy roads.
Skipping to escape mud and water. And we made a commitment that we will get the concrete roads put in and complete it.
The condition of the road been bad. We happy about this because all day long we have mud dam, okay? And now we get beautiful dam, nice. You can walk in, you can walk out, you can go out, you can come in. It's nice.
I'm grateful that this work has been done because what I do know is that since I'm 24 years old and since we came to this community, the road has been real bad. So I'm grateful that we can really walk and ride and drive on this road.
But Joseph and the worker, they make the road, but they make it very good. It's okay. I satisfied with the road because the road is bad and now the road is okay now.
Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
More than a month after Geeta Chandan Edmund resigned from her post as General Secretary of the People's National Congress Reform, the party has finally announced her replacement. In a statement, the PNCR revealed that opposition Member of Parliament Dawn Hastings Williams will be the new General Secretary. Reports indicate that Chandan Edmund's resignation as General Secretary stemmed from concerns expressed by senior members of the party about her performance. Back in January, Chandan Edmund, a former magistrate, had replaced long-standing PNCR member Amna Ali, who had served as the party's General Secretary since June 2017. At the time of Chandan Edmund's appointment, she was serving as an APNO AFC Member of Parliament and had enjoyed the support of the membership of the PNCR. And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge is expected to be closed on Friday, January 20th, 2023 at 3 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed on Friday, January 20th, 2023 at 15 hours 10 for a period of 1.5 hours.
Finding venues a countrywide problem for football, says Mendonca, and New Zealand thump West Indies women to break winning streak. Details of these stories and more in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp, coming up on the other side of the break.
This Christmas, give the gift of life by protecting your loved ones against vaccine-preventable diseases. The Ministry of Health's nightly vaccination campaign continues throughout December at the Ministry of Health tarmac up to 7 p.m. Mondays to Saturdays. Administration of the HPV vaccine for children begins from 9 years old. So come out, adults, and bring your children to get vaccinated against HPV. But that's not all. Since it's a season of giving, we are gifting back to school supplies to children receiving HPV and COVID-19 vaccines throughout December. Adults, gifts for you too when you are vaccinated at the Ministry of Health, Brickdam, on December 25th, 26th, and 31st from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. For more information, contact us at 226-8171 or 226-3103. Vaccinate what you create. A message from the Ministry of Health and UNICEF.
Moving, lifting, or bending, whatever the job, we at Sylvie's Variety Store have the right tools to make it happen. Pallet jacks and hand trucks for bonds and industrial sites, easy pickup and convenient maneuvers. Chain hoist from Roughneck and Northern Industrial, the perfect solution to lifting heavy objects. And then there's the 12-ton and 16-ton hydraulic pipe benders from 1/2 to 2 inch. We also stock the shop press machine from Northern Industrial. Sylvie's Variety Store stocks the tools to make it happen.